I believe there are two types of people in the world. There are the chemistry people, and there are the math people. Chemistry people are the ones who exemplify opposite signs attract, or the converse, like signs repel. The math people are the ones who demonstrate just the opposite. Two of the same sign will make a positive, and opposite signs will make a negative, if they're multiplied together. For the purposes of this essay, assume the operation is multiplication. For the most part, I identify as a chemistry person. Sure, I'm a little biased because I love the subject, but I've proved time and time again that opposites attract and like repel. The proof is in my relationship with my best friend. She is nothing like me. She is creative, abstract, emotional, and happy. I am logical, systematic, cold, and grouchy. I'll be the first to admit. But if you put us together, we will conquer the world. Layla and Miriam have a relationship like Maria and me. Layla is young, beautiful, able to bear children, and grew up in a progressive home. Miriam is older, tired, unable to have children, and was brought up more conservatively. They were both thrown into a plural marriage together, and while they had a turbulent start, they ended up forming a strong bond. Despite their difference in their ability to have kids, they were able to be the perfect parental unit to raise Layla's children. Each woman added something important to the children's lives. On the other hand, my father and I are very similar. We are both sarcastic, stubborn, and you guessed it, grouchy. We constantly butt heads and end up in screaming matches at least once a night. Setha and Denver had a similar parent-child relationship. They both had a motherly instinct and desired to have something to love. However, Setha and Denver didn't realize that they had each other to love. Sure, they didn't end up in nightly screaming matches, but they had a standoffish relationship because Denver resented her mom for not paying attention to her, and Setha didn't know how to express her love for Denver. Then you have your math people, like my mom and my brother, who are both intelligent, spontaneous, and friendly. They might as well be the same person, and they get along just swimmingly. They exemplify how two of the same type of person make a positive. Hamlet and Horatio were the same way. Both were bright, witty, and loyal. Horatio was someone Hamlet could confide in and count on to keep his secrets. They ended up being partners in crime for avenging the king's death. My mom and my dad, though, are nothing alike and are constantly arguing. My dad is not spontaneous or friendly like my mom, and my mom is not musical or well-spoken like my dad. Gatsby and Daisy exemplified this type of relationship. Before Gatsby came into wealth, they were completely different. Daisy was from a wealthy family and expected to marry a wealthy man. Gatsby was from a poor family and was an officer in the army, not a profession that pays well, believe me. When they first met and fell in love, it just spelled trouble. There was no way they would be able to be together. And years later, it resulted in Gatsby's dream being crushed. There are concepts in math that help us solve chemistry problems, and concepts in chemistry that help us solve math problems. Just as chemistry and math coexist, so do the chemistry and math people. We have to. We help each other solve our problems. As there is in any family, there is confrontation in my household. Now here's the twist. We couldn't live without one another. I still love my dad, though we don't always get along. And my mom and my dad have been married for 27 years. They're the perfect example of how the two types of people work together to solve their problems. And the best part? Chemistry and math work together naturally, and so do the chemistry and math people.